America, where everyone has a voice, but too many fail to speak. Too many don't know the foundation of our nation, have never read the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, or the Articles of Confederation, and fail to end up in a voting booth. It's time for change. Welcome to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin, a platform for young America to voice their ideals and have meaningful dialogue on politics, economics, and social issues. Connect at thevoyatampabay.weebly.com. Now, the host of the Voice of Young America, Justin Austin.
Welcome to the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. Thank you for tuning in to our first program. Let's dig right in. Let me tell you why I started this movement, the Voice of Young America. I grew up a black male in St. Pete. I decided to become a Republican. Why? Well, it's a lot of reasons, but I'm going to tell you that it's the values and the principles in the Republican Constitution that grabbed me as a young man. I think about the first Republican president. That was Abraham Lincoln. The Republican Party was a derivative of the Whig Party. One of the things that they disagreed on was slavery. And that was the party platform for the Republican Party. And I think that Abraham Lincoln more so could not be a better representative of what the Republican Party was looking for and what they wanted to do. I take hold to those values of smaller government, of more control by the people, of a free market. Those things are very, very important to me. And that's what the Republican Party offers. It offers a man to make his own way by the government providing the basic necessities of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And he is allowed to achieve his goals for himself, his family, and his community. That's why I became a Republican. Why are you what you are? People don't know. People just can't grasp their own values. So as long as you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything, you know? And people are falling for stereotypes and misconceptions. They've labeled me a black male, so I have to become a Democrat. They labeled me a person from a low socioeconomic area, so I have to be a Democrat. Why is that? That's a stereotype and it's a misconception. This has to change. That's why I started the movement, the Voice of Young America. The Voice of Young America is a movement to encourage and empower young Americans ages 18 to 40 in areas concerning politics, economics, and social issues. It's very important that young Americans be a part of the conversation so they can be a part of the solution. But let's look at the conversation. Everyone is talking Trump, Trump, Trump. Trump said this. Trump said that. Let's look at what Trump has said for the last 30 years. In an interview with Ronna Barrett in 1980, Ronna Barrett, would you like to be president of the United States, Mr. Trump? I really don't believe I would, Ronna. But I would like to see somebody as the president who could do the job, and there are very capable people in this country. Barrett, why wouldn't you dedicate yourself to public service, Mr. Trump? Because I think it's a very mean life. I would love and I would dedicate my life to this country, but I see it as being a mean life. And I also see it in somebody with strong views and somebody with the kind of views that are maybe a little bit unpopular, which may be right, but maybe unpopular, wouldn't necessarily have a chance of getting elected against somebody with no great brain, but a big smile. From The Race, NBC, quoted in Porter David, what blacks must go through. This was retrieved by the Orlando Sentinel in June 6, 2011. A well-educated black man has a tremendous advantage over a well-educated white in terms of the job market. I think sometimes a black may think they don't have an advantage or this and that. I've said on one occasion, even about myself, if I were starting off today, I would love to be a well-educated black because I believe they do have an actual advantage. On the Larry King on CNN interview, October 1999, I'm a conservative and even very conservative. I'm quite liberal and getting much more liberal on health care and other things. I really say, what's the purpose of a country if you're not going to have defensive and health care? If you can't take care of your sick in the country, forget it. It's all over. I mean, it's no good. So I'm very liberal when it comes to health care. I believe in universal health care. I believe in whatever it takes to make people well and better. Another Trump quote from Wall Street Journal, September 30th, 1999. Let's cut to the chase. Yes, I'm considering a run for president. Unlike candidates from the two major parties, my candidacy would not represent an exercise in career advancement. I am not a political pro trying to top off his resume. I am considering a run only because I am convinced the major parties have lost their way. The Republicans are captives of the right wing. The Democrats are captives of their left wing. I don't hear anyone speaking for the working men and women in the center. On Hardball with Chris Matthews, as quoted in the New York Post, people want me to run for president all the time. I don't like it. Can you imagine how controversial I'd be? You think about Bill Clinton and the women. How about me with the women? Can you imagine? Well, reported by Jerry Usom, what does Donald Trump really want? Fortune magazine, April 3rd, 2000. It's very possible that I could be the first presidential candidate to run and make money on it. Another quote to Billy Bush in 2005. Transcript, Donald Trump's taped comments about women. The New York Times, October 8th, 2016. I did try and F her. She was married. I moved on her like a bee, but I couldn't get there, and she was married. Then all of a sudden I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look. I've got to use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pee. You can do anything. On The View, March 6, 2006. If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. Our final quote, 2007 CNN interview, reported in Zeke J. Miller when Donald Trump praised Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, I think, is a terrific woman. I am biased because I have known her for years. I live in New York. She lives in New York. I really like her and her husband both a lot. I think she really works hard. And I think, again, she's given an agenda. It's not all of her, but I think she really works hard, and I think she does a good job. I like her. Now, listen to these statements by Mr. Trump. He's been saying outrageous things for the last 30 years. The American people still voted for him. There was no surprise in his character when he stepped up to that podium in 2015 and made the announcement to run for president. So, yes, pay attention to his comments. Yes, pay attention to his policies. Yes, pay attention to his health. That is American. But also, look for a candidate that represents your values. That is what's important. We have to find the candidate that represents our values like Abraham Lincoln did for me. What candidate is your Abraham Lincoln? You need to write down what you value for yourself, for your family, for your community, and for America as a whole. There's over 318 million people in America. So you can't just think about yourself, but what's best for our country. I respect Donald Trump as our president because I respect the Constitution. The Constitution states that the people will vote for their representatives. The Constitution states that no taxation without representation. These are the basic premise, the basic precepts of the Constitution. My fellow Americans voted for Donald Trump. I did as well. My candidate lost in the primary. My candidate was Jeb Bush. But I was okay with that because, again, I respect the Constitution and my fellow citizens voted for Donald Trump in the primary and my fellow citizens voted for Donald Trump in the general election. Who was your candidate? Who's your candidate for president coming up in 2020? Who's your candidate for the Senate coming up in 2018? Who's your candidate for your county commission, for your mayor, for your city council? Don't be misled. What's important is what the president does while he is president. I totally agree. But what is most important is that our representatives must represent the people. If you go back to the Boston Tea Party, the Americans were ready to submit to the will of the king. They didn't disapprove of being a territory of Great Britain. They disapproved of not being represented. So one of the things that was very important for the American people going forward was to make sure that their representatives weren't royalty in the sense that they were disconnected from the people. But look at our representatives today. How many actually represent the community that you live in? How many represent the struggle that you go through? How many represent your financial status? Not to say they need to be poor, not to say they need to have drama or trouble, but how many of your representatives represent you? When's the last time they've been to your neighborhood? When's the last time they shopped at the local market? Not the Walmart, but the local market. These things are so important for the fabric of America to stay together. The news media will tell you all day long, Trump is bad, Trump is bad, Trump is bad. Will the news media tell you that you voted for Donald Trump? Will the news media tell you that the Constitution says that the American people, as a majority, has to select their president? That is what's big. That is what is the most important thing going on here today. We have to find a way to make that heard. We have to find a way to expand those thoughts. We need to block out things that don't matter. And once again, I'll say this over. His comments do matter. He is the representative of the United States. His policies definitely matter because they affect every individual within the United States. His health is important because he needs to be at optimal level when it comes to his performance. Those things you should care about, and those things are American. But if you're disappointed in Donald Trump, first, look at yourself. Who did you vote for? What candidate did you spend time cultivating? What candidate did you spend time donating to, volunteering with, making sure that his policies, his message was being heard? If you can't say you helped build up a candidate, then how can you make a comment towards Donald Trump? These are the questions that we should be asking ourselves. And the questions that we should be asking our representatives is not only what you're going to do for me or what you're going to do for the country, but actually what are your values? And how can you show those values in the work that you've done on Capitol Hill, or the work that you've done in Tallahassee, or the work that you've done in Tampa, or the work that you've done in Clearwater? How does your values show up in the voting booth? That's what you need to ask your representatives. When they vote, when they create policy, are those values aligned with your values? We cannot allow our representatives to be treated like royalty. We cannot allow our representatives to be disconnected from the populace. That is unacceptable, and that will not stand. The mass body of America is being moved by headlines and by sound bites. The reason we started this movement is because we want to block out the noise and talk about what really matters. Young America has a voice. Young America has opinions and ideals that are so valid, that are so ingrained, and that are so American. But where's their platform? Their platform is right here today. Not only that, we need to integrate those ideas with the experience of maturity. We need to take those leaders and sit them down with the young America, 18 to 40, and really build plans and policies that go towards the future. You can't do that when you're not having respectful dialogue, when you're not having meaningful dialogue, when you're not actually trying to have a meeting of the minds. We saw the other day the senator come out and said that it was an S show. That's what the meeting was, an S show. That's amazing. Not that an S show actually took place, is that's what they say on TV. It's amazing because no one walked into that room actually looking for compromise. No one walked into that room looking for growth. No one walked into that room looking to represent the American public. They went in with their own agendas. Think about it like this. Your representative walks in the room with Trump. What should he be talking about that represents your values? You need to check him. Check him or her that wears that pen that says they represent the Tampa Bay area, that represents every single American. These people are failing us. And they're only going to continue failing us if we allow ourselves to stay asleep. Let's wake up, young America and America as a whole. We're a strong people. We really are. Let's stand up together. I'm Justin Austin, host of The Voice of Young America. When it comes to complete auto repair and fast service, check out the pros at Auto Lens Center, 1308 East Bush Boulevard in Tampa, providing professional quality work on all American-made and foreign car models. Great pricing on complete auto repair services, oil changes, and brakes. Auto Lens Center at 1308 East Bush Boulevard, where experience and good service go a long way. Call 813-764-7891. That's 813-764-7891. Auto Lens Center.
The voice of young America relies on committed Americans like you to stand with us. If you're frustrated with the lack of real information being delivered to the next generation, then support Justin's efforts. Connect on social media, thevoyatampabay.weebly.com, facebook.com/The Voice of Young America, The Voice of Young America, to inform with truth and broadcast collectively and respectively the diverse ideals of young America.
Finding skilled and unskilled tradesmen can be a problem, whether it's temporary or long-term. Rose Employment Solutions handles all of your workers' comp needs while responsibly solving your staffing problems. You make the call, they do it all. 813-644-5037. And for the quality tradesmen in search of career growth, full-time hours, and multiple pay options, call Rose Employment Solutions, 813-644-5037. Learn more at rose-emp.com or just stop by their office, 1020 West Bush Boulevard in Tampa.
Welcome back to The Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin by email, thevoyatampabay@gmail.com.
Welcome back to The Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. Let's get into our next topic, cryptocurrency. Now, I am no investment advisor. I'm just telling you what you can find on the internet. This thing is exploding. Most people are paying attention to Bitcoin, which is the premier cryptocurrency. But I don't think people have a really good understanding of what it is. They see the numbers, they see the headlines, but they don't understand actually what it is. Cryptocurrency is a decentralized peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And this is a quote from the unknown Bitcoin inventor, stated in late 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto. Cryptocurrency is limited in its entries in a database no one can change without fulfilling specific conditions. Every peer has a record of the complete history of all transactions, the history of every account in the blockchain. The blockchain is just a chain of contracts that are being confirmed by independent sources. The reason that it's decentralized is because it's not fiat currency, and fiat currency means it's not hard money. In the sense of gold. Gold would be hard money in the sense it's only a limited supply of gold. Fiat, which we use as the dollar bill, can continuously be printed, can lose value. There's no inflation in true cryptocurrency because it's a finite amount. The reason it's decentralized to keep it honest. We know that everybody in the business is not honest, Abe. But the thing of it is that people wanted to do transactions and have them verified in a fast and a speedy way. And this is what really was the start of cryptocurrency, for people to be able to conduct transactions and allow them to be secured worldwide. This is amazing. I mean, you can send something from America to Sri Lanka, and people are verifying these contracts all over the world, and they can see all of the debits and credits in the system to make sure something doesn't get charged twice. It's really deep. Of course, you can find out all kinds of information on the internet. It's so much about it. But just to give you a basic background, like setting up an account, big exchanges, you got Gemini and Coinbase. To set up an account, just say you would go online, you put in your info. You have to verify your account. Now, this takes 1 to 3 days. And this consists of proof of your person, proof of your bank account. Once again, this is supposed to be a system where contracts can be done, but be done the right way and protected. So therefore, to even enter into the cryptocurrency business or system, they want to have you prove who you are. And I think that's something that we're all for. Like I said, that takes 1 to 3 days. Next is the approval process. And once you are approved, then you place money into your account. The popular ways are VOYA and ACH. The VOYA takes at least about 4 days, and the ACH is a minimum of 7 days. Now, once you get past all that and you get yourself in there, a lot of people use Bitcoin. You transfer your US dollar into Bitcoin. Once you get into Bitcoin, you can actually start looking at other currencies. Now, once you do, once again, I'm no investment advisor, but once you do, and this is all the information I found on the internet, you can check out my site, the VOYA, tampabay.weebly.com. We'll have information all up on there of different sites you can go to get information from investment advisors or just find out basic information on the internet. But once you do, of course, you want to select which ones that appeal to you. I would always say do what you know, find out which currency, which cryptocurrency or Coinbase is something that you're interested in. You got to look at ICOs, initial coin offerings. These are new cryptocurrencies that are being created, and then once they are created, they go out onto the market. And the initial offerings could be anything like 0.007 cents. And, depending on how the market goes, well, that thing could be worth $89 at the end of the year. Just think about that kind of growth. And that's what excites people. That's what brings people to the market, the opportunity for growth. But this has I think it's one of those two-sided factors that, of course, you get the opportunity to make a lot of money, but you get that opportunity to increase and enhance a system that's the wave of the future. Make no mistake, cryptocurrency will change, and it's already changing the way people do business. There are banks that are trying to figure out how to partner with cryptocurrency and bring that in. But one of the problems is regulation. You have to understand that regulation is going to swallow things whole. If you look at what's going on today in South Korea and China, even in America, they're trying to crack down on this because it's not centralized. And the reason it's not centralized is because they don't want it to be. That was the whole purpose of it being created. So what can the government do? And they're not going to shut down the internet, and they only can block so many sites. So, I mean, people can really, really go into a dark web type thing to make things happen. And the reason I bring all that up is because cryptocurrency won't go away. Unless the government shuts down the internet, cryptocurrency is here to stay. Now, how it's going to grow? Well, I was talking to a trader buddy of mine, and he said that, hey, in a week or two, he thinks Bitcoin is going to be back up. And one of the big ones to get into right now, of course, is Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum is huge as well. It's so many YouTube videos. There's so much information out there about those two. But there are a lot of smaller ones that are gaining a big, big buzz. And so if you look at the market, I mean, if you look at Ethereum, if you go back to September, late August, September, even October, Ethereum's down to 298, shot up to I think somewhere around 1,000. You look at Bitcoin, it started off 17. I believe it started at 17, about 400, went up to 7,000. And just like that, then I think it finished the year short of 20 grand. Now it's back down to like 13. I think it's down past 10 right now. Like I said, I'm no financial analyst, but you will see the hiccups in the market. Now, one of the things that people don't understand is the behavioral psychology when it comes to investing. People get scared, and the markets depend on that. Right now, Bitcoin is so low that a lot of people who are in a great position are going to buy because they know that the market is going to go back up. It always does. And if you look at the stock market, there's great belief in the growth of the American economy right now. And why is that belief there? Donald Trump. It's all psychology. The stock market, the economy is ran on psychology. The currency system is ran on psychology. That's all these things are. They're ran on psychology. So we have to understand that. And as soon as we lose faith in the dollar, it will drop. As soon as we lose faith in Apple, they'll drop. As soon as we lose faith in Facebook, it'll drop. That's the way the system is set up. And people are losing faith in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency for the moment, but that will not last. You need to know that. There are several hazards, of course, everyone should be aware of. Of course, I think the biggest one is buying coins that they don't know. And of course, you can always buy something when it's going up, but just know it could fall. Like I said, I can't give you an investment advice. What I can tell you is that study behavior finance, study the fluctuations in the market, but more so understand the system. Study cryptocurrency. Find out where it comes from. Find out how it's being implemented. And then you'll have a better understanding of the market. You'll have a better understanding of what they're trying to do with regulation. It's going to continue to be a major piece of all economies. It's not limited to East Asia. It's not limited to America. This is a worldwide thing. And as long as we are educating ourselves, especially young America, about what cryptocurrency is and how is it going to affect the fiat system, because that is where the government regulation comes in. I mean, if you start using more cryptocurrency, that means that you're using less dollar, you're using less pound, you're using less franc, you're using less yen, you're using less rupee. All these things matter to these governments. So you have to understand when you're getting your information from, too. Why is the government trying to block cryptocurrency? Why is it so hard to get into? Because it is against what they're about, which is control. If we look at it, the government's controlling more and more of everything every day. A free market economy is so close to the fabric. It's so intertwined into the fabric of what America is. And more regulation stops that. Donald Trump knows this. He has given the stock market such a great boost of psychology, you can say, good psychology, because now the market is running. If you, I believe, the CEO for Fiat Wrangler was at the car show, and he was stating that what Mr. Trump did with his tax plan has created so much more opportunity that they're moving jobs from Mexico back to America. Look at Apple opening up a second headquarters, investing $350 billion. You know why? Because of Donald Trump tax plan. A lot of people are being scared away because they think the tax plan is going to hurt their child income tax credit or whatever the case may be. What you need to understand is your economy just grew. Your economy just got better. Even Mr. Trump commented the other day, unemployment in the African-American neighborhood is actually went down as well because of his psychology that he's added to the economy. People are hiring more. People are looking for more opportunities. And that's what we need to grow. Now, let me tell you something about cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is an opportunity to grow the economy in a different way and in a worldwide way. We're already connected worldwide. Cryptocurrency removes the boundaries. So there's no more yen and any of that. These things aren't regulated to a particular country. Cryptocurrency is about where who is actually creating that coin and how their blockchain is created. That's what you need to pay attention to. And I'm not going to tell you it's better than fiat because that's not a position I'm in to make. But what I will tell you is that cryptocurrency will allow for new business innovation. Just think about if we had a local market in the Tampa Bay area. What we could do is have companies who meet certain guidelines to create to be a part of a market where they can create their own cryptocurrency, and this will allow you to buy into their company for them to expand. And what happens when companies expand? They hire. What happens when people hire? More people get jobs. What happens when people get jobs? People are able to put more bread on the table, spend more money at Walmart, spend more money on Amazon.com, and this just is a cyclical effect that goes through the economy. Once we get to a point where we can actually create local markets based off cryptocurrency, man, there's going to be an explosion. It's going to be something fierce, something just so magnetic that everyone's going to pull to it. The reason we're talking about cryptocurrency, and this is going to be a big thing going forward, we're going to make sure we cover this, is that cryptocurrency is here now and is here to stay. Do not be moved by new regulations. Don't be moved by them. Cryptocurrency is above regulation. Don't be moved by the sound bites, just like in politics. Don't be moved by them, because facts are facts, no matter if they come from CNN, they come from Fox News. Facts are facts. And if anyone telling you something, please verify it. Go out and read about cryptocurrency. You'll understand. It's not a fly by night. It's not a bubble. It's here to stay. It is the future. Like I say, you can go onto our website, Tampa Bay, the VOYA TampaBay.weebly.com. We'll have information where you can figure out more information about cryptocurrency, what it does, where it comes from, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and just move you in the right direction. I hear a lot of my young Americans talking about cryptocurrency, getting in, making money. Well, right now it's down to one of its lowest points. And if you want to get in, why not get in now? So just understand that it's the future. It's here. So with that said, to talk about a little bit more when it comes to what coins you should get into, I can't do that, but I want to let you know, if you actually look at the markets today, there are a lot of new coins that are out there, a lot of new currency that are out there that are having initial coin offerings. Look for those. Those are the ones that are going to be building up. And by the time all of this regulates itself, by the time the market balances itself out, these small coins that are worth 0.007, 0.002, or 0.2, these are the ones that are going to start to explode. There's, like I said, cryptocurrency is not like the rupee. It's not like the dollar. It's not like the yen. It's not regulated to a country. It's not centralized. And for that fact, it's going to become more fluid. And anytime something's more fluid, that means that people are, using it more, and it's going to grow out into the system. Hop on this train. Get educated. Find out. We'll be back. I'm Justin Austin, host of The Voice of Young America. When it comes to complete auto repair and fast service, check out the pros at Auto Lens Center, 1308 East Bush Boulevard in Tampa, providing professional quality work on all American-made and foreign car models. Great pricing on complete auto repair services, oil changes, and brakes. Auto Lens Center at 1308 East Bush Boulevard, where experience and good service go a long way. Call 813-764-7891. That's 813-764-7891. Auto Lens Center.
The voice of young America relies on committed Americans like you to stand with us. If you're frustrated with the lack of real information being delivered to the next generation, then support Justin's efforts. Connect on social media, thevoyatampabay.weebly.com, facebook.com/The Voice of Young America, The Voice of Young America, to inform with truth and broadcast collectively and respectively the diverse ideals of young America.
Finding skilled and unskilled tradesmen can be a problem, whether it's temporary or long-term. Rose Employment Solutions handles all of your workers' comp needs while responsibly solving your staffing problems. You make the call, they do it all. 813-644-5037. And for the quality tradesman in search of career growth, full-time hours, and multiple pay options, call Rose Employment Solutions, 813-644-5037. Learn more at rose-emp.com or just stop by their office, 1020 West Bush Boulevard in Tampa.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin by phone. Call 813-614-6447.
Welcome back. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. You're listening to the first program of the Voice of Young America. Let's dive into our next section. There's been a lot of talk around the world about Mr. Trump, President Trump, moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. People say it's a religious issue. Who's saying that? Well, a lot of people. But what are the facts? Is it a religious issue? It actually is. Look at the history. Go back to the Ottoman Empire. And when you look at the conflict that was there, you go back to the French, the British fighting the Ottomans, taking over what they considered the southern part of the Ottoman Empire, which is southern Syria. At that time, when they did take it over, you had Mandate Palestine or Mandate Jerusalem, however you want to put it. That's when the British had control over Jerusalem and the surrounding area, along with the French. Now, they allowed let me put this the correct way. There was a great number of Jews that were spread out throughout the world after they kind of left Jerusalem and started migrating back. The Arabs had kind of taken over. If you look at the Egyptians had taken over as well. So when all these people have been battling over the Holy Land of Jerusalem, the reason why the British decided to take over in the sense of Jerusalem and making it a special place because they said that it's a holy ground. They truly believe that it was a holy ground and that it should be preserved. And the United Nations actually stepped up, agreed with them. They put together resolutions and they left Jerusalem as a kind of like an independent place, and then they wanted to surround Jerusalem with those of Arab and Jewish that were already there, and they were kind of supposed to share the land in a sense. And the British couldn't keep and contain what was going on between the two groups. I think the British suffered probably more than they thought they would have liked to between trying to keep the balance between the Jewish and the Arab. But what was it about? Was it really about land? Well, it's always been about Jerusalem. It's always been about the Holy Land. And that is a religious issue. For you to say holy means religious. And for, like I say, if you look at the documents, don't take my word for it. You can look up Mandate Palestine, British Jerusalem. You can look up the Ottoman Empire. You can look up the Arab-Israeli War. I mean, this information is a plethora of information to look up. And I'm not telling you whose side you should be on, but I think that we should look at the facts, that this is a religious situation and that everybody who makes a statement is making a statement from a religious standpoint. And we see that America has always allied themselves with the Jewish people, and the British have tried to play both sides. They played the Jewish side and they played the Arab side. In 1917, they told the Jews that they will give them back the Holy Land. And then they kind of reneged on that. And it's been a problem ever since. But it's been a problem because the Arabs have always dominated in numbers. They were like 84% to 13% Jewish at some point, and the numbers have been growing. But when you look at it, this is a conflict that was between these two groups, but you had the Western Europeans deciding who gets what. So you have a division between two groups, and then outside groups are actually the ones making decisions. The fighting was so volatile that the British removed themselves from the area and left everything to a resolution within the UN. And once the British removed themselves, the Jews established Israel. The land of Israel. And if you look at what the Arabs did, their response was, no, you're not legitimate. And it's been a battle ever since. And this is from the battle started before 1923, but when you look at just the infiltration of Britain after they won against the Ottoman Empire, and then you go forward from there, look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. They did census numbers on how many Jews were there, how many Christians were there, how many Muslims were there. If you look at the Holy Land has been taken over by the Christian, by the Muslim, by the Jew. So who has a right to this land? And who has a right to decide? Do we hear from the Palestinians? Do we hear from the Jews when you listen to the media? When you turn on CNN and they're telling you that Donald Trump decides to move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, are they giving you on the ground footage from Arabs or Jews on the situation? I had an opportunity to speak to two Palestinian gentlemen recently. And they said that they feel like America is encroaching on the problem. And they've always felt that way because America did side with Jerusalem. With Israel. The day that Israel declared their sovereignty, America was the first one on board, and they threw the thumbs up. The thing that we have to look at is that we are constantly talking about religious issues. But people like to say it's a separation of church and state. That's not true. I wrote a paper called The Citizen Review. It's on the website, the VOYA, tampabay.weebly.com. And this paper is based on the fact that the Constitution says that we were able to derive the rights and the powers to create this union based on the unalienable rights given by the Creator. Our founders believed the Creator made it all men equal and provided them with equal rights to pursue to achieve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We've always been a Christian country. Now, how many actually practicing Christians? Very few. But we've always been a Christian country. So when we look at this conflict over there, or we looked at the conflict in the Middle East in general, we look at it from being Christian and to a Muslim, or Christian to a Jew. This is going to be an ongoing problem because America has done this two-sided act. We want to remove God from everything, but at the same time, we want to be a Christian country. We can't have it both ways. But how much more so do we keep getting involved in these issues outside of our borders? We've made it a plight of the American people to fix the world's problems. But look at the problems right here at home. Look at the dissension right here at home. Because America is made up of Jews, Muslims, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, the whole like. That was the whole point for anybody to come here and worship the way that they wanted to. But understand this. You started with the precept that you were coming to America to achieve those God-given rights, to hold firm to those God-given rights. In the Constitution, it states that to secure these God-given rights, men form governments. This is in the Constitution. This is in the Declaration of Independence. We keep getting a part of religious wars without declaring our religious position. How is that possible? When are we going to stand up and say America was formed and based on Christianity? And this is not my view. These are facts. Read the Constitution, read the Declaration of Independence. This is what it states. God gave us the rights. We will pursue those rights. We will secure those rights by forming governments. So when we do step into an outside situation, know that the premise of what we're going off of is a religious premise. And the situation that we're stepping into is a religious situation. Now, when you think about what's going on here locally, not locally, but nationally, when you think about it, we hear things like there's a Muslim problem. There's not a Muslim problem. There's a radical problem. But we have radical Americans. Look at the Unabomber. Look at Casey, John Wayne Casey, or look at the guy who was in Columbine. To me, the radicals. You got teen radicals. You got Jeffrey Dahmer type radicals. We have radicals on every side. These guys aren't espousing Christianity as being radical Christians or like they have radical Muslims. But anybody who says they represent Islam, well, ask them what Islam means. Ask him about what the Quran says about peace. Now, if anyone says they're Christian, ask him what the Bible says about peace, love. If anybody says they're a Jew, ask him what the Torah says about peace, love. These people are radicals. I totally agree. But it's not a religious problem, because if you look at their religion tells them to be peaceful and find a way to work with all men. The Torah, the Quran, the Bible. So it's not a religious issue. It's a radical issue. And it further states that this battle is a battle of ideas. We're battling for the minds of the youth. We're battling for the minds of the mature. That's what we're battling for. Every time you turn on CNN or Fox News or whatever, they're battling for the mind. Whenever ISIS, which is the Islamic State, the Islamic State in Syria, they're battling for minds when they try to reach out and recruit new people. When, as a Christian, as someone who shares the gospel, they're battling for the minds. Because Christ says, when you come to me and you submit yourself to me, you will be renewed in your mind. because it's all a battle of the mind. These social issues that we're going through, we will continue to go through because conflict is man's pure nature. But what we do have to understand is that if anyone is espousing any type of religion, ask him what that religion actually means. Ask him to show you in the Torah, the Quran, or the Christianity where peace and love become secondary to violence. It doesn't. People aren't faith-based. They're selfish. And these people who are radicals are just selfish people who have decided to manipulate scripture or the text to boost their own thing up. And then you have the media, even you have government officials who are saying we have a Muslim problem. We don't have a Muslim problem. We have a radical problem. We have a radical problem amongst our teenagers with bullying. We have a radical problem with our parents, with not adding to the moral fabric of America in raising their children. We have a problem with maturity in America where people are so worried about consuming the benefits of America instead of nourishing the future of America. The deal with Palestine and Israel is that they have to work it out. Will they work it out? Who knows? But is that really America's issue? Are we really the world peacekeepers? We can't even keep peace in our own home. Look at the violence statistics. Go to the Florida, go to the Department of Law Enforcement, and they will give you statistics every single year of the violence and the crimes in America. We're not in a war zone, but we have numbers like we're in a war zone. Chicago, war zone. Detroit, war zone. California, war zone. Stop. Let's fix America. Let's make America great. That's what we should be focused on. And if you want to talk about religion, ask someone to show you their works, show you their faith by their works, whether they're Christian, Muslim, or Jew. Ask them to show you their faith by their works, because no matter which one of the Abrahamic religions that you worship, peace, love, and harmony radiate through it all. We are growing further and further apart as a country, and as a people, as a human beings, as a human race. We're going further and further apart. Morality is not primary. Faith is not primary. Family is not even primary anymore. You don't live as individuals. We live as a group. We are going to kill each other off with the lack of love. Thank you for listening to The Voice of Young America. Check us out next week.
You've been listening to The Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. The Voice of Young America relies on committed Americans like you to stand with us. If you're frustrated with the lack of real information being delivered to the next generation, then support Justin's efforts. Connect on social media, thevoyatampabay.weebly.com, facebook.com/The Voice of Young America. Email thevoyatampabay@gmail.com. And be sure to join us next Saturday evening at 6 for The Voice of Young America here on AM 860. The Answer.